What if everything you believed about free will was a lie? What if every decision you've ever made, every success, every mistake, every choice wasn't truly yours at all? Imagine discovering that a secret organization has spent centuries searching for a powerful artifact capable of controlling human behavior itself. Now imagine learning that the key to finding that artifact lies hidden within your own bloodline. Today's story takes us into a world where history is far more dangerous than the textbooks ever revealed. A world where an ancient war has been fought in the shadows for hundreds of years, hidden from ordinary people. On one side stand the assassins, guardians of freedom, who believe humanity must always have the right to choose its own path. On the other side are the Templars, a powerful order convinced that peace can only exist when human conflict is eliminated, even if that means taking away free will itself. At the center of this conflict is Callum Lynch, a man whose life has been shaped by tragedy, violence, and secrets he never understood. After facing what appears to be the end of his life, Callum awakens to discover that he has become part of something far bigger than himself. Using revolutionary technology, he is forced to relive the memories of a distant ancestor who lived during one of the most turbulent periods in history. But the deeper Callum travels into the past, the more dangerous the truth becomes. Ancient conspiracies begin to surface, hidden loyalties are exposed, and a legendary artifact known as the Apple of Eden threatens to fall into the wrong hands. What begins as a search for answers quickly becomes a desperate race to protect humanity's freedom. This is Assassin's Creed, a story where the past and present collide and where one man's memories may determine the future of the entire world. As Callum begins to understand the situation he's trapped in, the film starts asking a much bigger question than whether the assassins can protect a powerful artifact. The real question is whether human beings should ever be protected from themselves. It's a fascinating idea because both sides believe they're saving the world, yet they completely disagree on what freedom actually means. The organization holding Callum claims it wants to eliminate violence from human society. On the surface, that sounds noble. After all, who wouldn't want a world without war, crime, or suffering? But the movie quickly introduces a darker side to that promise. If violence can be removed only by controlling human choice, then is humanity truly free anymore? To uncover answers, Callum is connected to an advanced machine that allows him to relive the memories of his ancestor Aguilar, a member of the Assassin Brotherhood living in Spain during the late 15th century. Unlike many historical adventures that simply use the past as a backdrop, Assassin's Creed treats history as a living battlefield whose consequences continue to shape the present. One of the film's most interesting concepts is the idea of inherited memory. Instead of reading about history, Callum experiences it directly. He doesn't merely watch Aguilar's actions, he begins to feel them. Every chase, every fight, every narrow escape becomes part of his own experience. This creates a unique connection between the two characters despite centuries separating them. As Aguilar's story unfolds, viewers are introduced to a period of political instability, secret alliances, and hidden agendas. Powerful forces are searching for the legendary Apple of Eden, an artifact believed to hold extraordinary influence over human behavior. The assassins see it as something too dangerous for anyone to possess, while the Templars view it as the solution to humanity's endless cycle of conflict. This difference in philosophy drives nearly every major event in the film. What makes Aguilar compelling isn't that he's invincible. In fact, much of his journey is defined by sacrifice and constant danger. He operates in a world where one mistake can mean death, and every mission carries enormous consequences. The movie repeatedly emphasizes that being an assassin is not about glory. It's about responsibility. As the historical storyline develops, the action becomes increasingly ambitious. Rooftop pursuits, stealth operations, and close-quarters combat create some of the movie's strongest sequences. Even viewers unfamiliar with the video games can recognize the visual identity of the franchise through these moments. The filmmakers clearly wanted to capture the feeling of moving through a city from impossible heights while maintaining the sense that danger exists around every corner. At the same time, Callum's experiences inside the Animus begin affecting him outside of it. This is where the movie introduces one of its most intriguing ideas, the bleeding effect. The more time Callum spends reliving Aguilar's memories, the more their identities start overlapping. Skills, instincts, and memories begin crossing the boundaries between past and present. What initially appears to be a scientific experiment gradually becomes something far more unpredictable. And this creates a major shift in the story. At first, Callum views himself as a prisoner. He wants answers, but he doesn't necessarily want involvement. However, as he learns more about his family's history, he realizes that his life has always been connected to this hidden conflict. The secrets surrounding his childhood suddenly become part of a much larger puzzle. The movie also spends time exploring legacy. How much of who we are comes from our own choices, and how much comes from the people who came before us? Callum is constantly confronted by this question. The memories he experiences reveal not only the strengths of his ancestors but also the burdens they carried. This emotional conflict adds depth to what could have been a straightforward action film. Meanwhile, the search for the Apple of Eden intensifies. Both sides understand the stakes. If the artifact falls into the wrong hands, the balance that has existed for centuries could disappear entirely. The film repeatedly reminds viewers that the struggle is not merely about possessing power but deciding who should have the authority to shape humanity's future. One aspect worth discussing is the movie's portrayal of the Templars. Rather than presenting them as villains who simply enjoy power, the story suggests they genuinely believe their methods will create a better world. Their reasoning is deeply flawed from the assassin's perspective, but it comes from a desire for order rather than pure destruction. That philosophical conflict makes the narrative more interesting. The assassins value freedom even when freedom leads to mistakes. The Templars value stability even when stability requires control. Neither side is fighting over money or territory alone. They're fighting over an idea. As Callum continues exploring Aguilar's memories, he becomes increasingly capable. Skills that once belonged only to his ancestor begin emerging in the present day. His transformation isn't instant, and that's important because it allows the audience to witness his gradual acceptance of a role he never wanted. At this stage, the movie starts building toward its central revelation. The people around Callum are not simply research subjects or prisoners. Many of them share similar ancestral connections to the Assassin Brotherhood. Their stories differ, but they are united by a common heritage and a common enemy. Through these interactions, Callum gains a stronger understanding of what it truly means to belong to the Brotherhood. The concept of community becomes increasingly important. The assassins are often portrayed as isolated figures operating from the shadows, yet the film emphasizes that their strength comes from generations of shared purpose. Every member contributes to a legacy much larger than any individual. As tensions rise, the line separating past and present begins disappearing. The memories Callum experiences become more vivid, more emotional, and more personal. What once felt like observation now feels like participation. This escalation creates urgency because viewers realize that the outcome of Aguilar's mission is directly connected to events unfolding in the modern world. The action sequences also become more intense during this portion of the story. Large-scale confrontations, daring escapes, and high-risk infiltrations showcase the physical demands placed upon the assassins. Yet beneath the spectacle lies a consistent theme: sacrifice. Throughout history, protecting freedom has required difficult choices. The film repeatedly suggests that true freedom carries a cost. People must be willing to accept uncertainty, disagreement, and even conflict. The alternative may appear peaceful, but it risks becoming a form of control disguised as harmony. Eventually, the search reaches a critical point. The location of the Apple of Eden is finally revealed, bringing centuries of pursuit toward a decisive confrontation. Every faction understands that the outcome will influence the future. The tension comes not from wondering whether the artifact is powerful, but from wondering who will possess it. This leads to the movie's final act, where ideology becomes just as important as action. Callum's journey reaches its emotional peak when he fully embraces the truth about his heritage. Rather than allowing others to define his identity, he chooses his own path. This decision reflects the movie's central message about free will. Freedom isn't meaningful unless individuals actively choose it. The climax combines physical conflict with philosophical resolution. Characters who once viewed events through entirely different lenses are forced to confront reality. Some discover that their assumptions were incomplete. Others learn that good intentions can still produce dangerous consequences. One particularly effective aspect of the ending is how it reinforces the Brotherhood's mission. The assassins are not trying to rule humanity. Their goal is to prevent anyone else from doing so. Whether viewers agree with their methods or not, the film presents their struggle as a defense of human choice itself. By the conclusion, the battle over the Apple of Eden becomes symbolic of a much larger issue. The artifact represents control, temptation, and the possibility of removing uncertainty from human existence. The assassins reject that possibility because they believe freedom matters more than perfection. Looking back, Assassin's Creed is a movie filled with ambitious ideas. It explores history, memory, identity, and power while attempting to balance science fiction with action-adventure storytelling. Some viewers may focus on the spectacle, while others may find the philosophical themes more compelling. Regardless of perspective, the film raises questions that remain relevant beyond its fictional world. Would humanity be better off if conflict could be eliminated through control? Or is freedom worth protecting even when it leads to mistakes? The movie doesn't provide easy answers, but it encourages audiences to think about those questions long after the credits roll. In the end, Callum's story is not just about discovering where he came from. It's about deciding who he wants to become. The centuries-old conflict between assassins and Templars continues, but the film leaves us with a powerful reminder: the future should belong to those who are free to choose it for themselves. And that is what makes Assassin's Creed more than a story about hidden blades, secret organizations, and ancient artifacts. At its core, it's a story about freedom, responsibility, and the enduring struggle over who gets to shape humanity's destiny. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.